Baseball season's here, and if you're playing daily fantasy sports on DraftKings, you're going to need some tips if you haven't played it before. So here's 3 easy tips to help you be a better daily fantasy baseball player. How do I select my pitchers is a question that a lot of people ask, and how much should I spend? K's are king. Strikeouts can add as many points to your team as an earned run will take away. And when you pay up for the best pitchers on a slate, Clayton Kershaw, Max Scherzer, Bumgarner, Sale, those guys have the potential to get you 10 strikeouts in 7 innings and usually don't give up more than 2 or 3 earned runs and give you an opportunity to have a ceiling game, an opportunity to score a ton of fantasy points from your SP1, the starting pitcher that you're picking first on your team. Now you do have to pick 2 starting pitchers, so when it comes to paying up for that first starting pitcher, you're going to have a budget of what you want to spend. $18,000 to $20,000 DraftKings dollars is what I usually stand by as my day-to-day pitching budget. Now there are some days that I'm going to go above that. There's some days that I may come in at the lower end, but it's not a hard and fast rule. When you pick that SP1 that really can fuel your team, find a starting pitcher for your second spot that allows you to have access to a lineup that's really probably not that good, strikes out a bunch, and a pitcher that gives you a little bit of chance to have some strikeout upside to go along with that stud pitcher that you put in your ace slot. What should you focus on when it comes to picking batters? When it comes to picking batters, when it comes to picking hitters, you want to focus on players in the top 5, maybe the top 6 of the batting order. That's where most of the run production comes from, that's where the big boppers are, and that's where the most talented bats hit on a day in, day out basis. There will be some opportunities throughout the season where you find an injury, where you find somebody taking a day off, and a lower priced batter, a value bat, will find his way into the top 5, opening up some salary for you to pay for one of the bigger bats or one of the bigger pitchers on the slate. This is a great way to go about building your hitting lineup to go along with those pitchers that you've selected, and don't shy away from picking hitters on the same team. Hitters are highly correlated with one another, and when you play guys that are back-to-back in an order, or 3 or 4, that lends itself to having all the upside that you possibly can get if one lineup goes for a ton of runs. What is stacking? Stacking hitters in a lineup is a very popular and profitable way to play tournaments in daily fantasy baseball. That means picking 4 or 5 hitters from the same lineup so you can get all of the points if that team scores a bunch of runs in that day. If you think that they're facing off against a pitcher who is weak against right-handed power bats, and you see a lineup that has 3 or 4 power bats in that lineup, and you play all of them together, every hit, run, RBI scored goes to your team. So if you have a couple of guys in a lineup, one guy hits a single, the guy after him gets a double, the guy behind him hits a 3-run home run, and you have all 3, you capture every bit of the fantasy points from that team. If you look at tournaments and at the top end of them, you are going to see a lot of teams that employ this strategy. Get used to it, learn it, and love it. Last but not least, do not ignore Coors Field. It is a pinball machine for fantasy points when it comes to daily fantasy baseball. You don't have to hate it. You want to get on board and just do it. I'm Zeidenfeld, and these have been my 3 tips to help you get better at daily fantasy baseball in 2017. Take a second to leave a note in the comments section below to tell me which one of these tips helped you the most, or what videos or tips you'd like to most see in the future. Be sure to like the Facebook page for more articles, podcasts, and videos just like this one to help you be a better daily fantasy player.